Today on Business Under Fire, we're lucky to have Jacob Carroll here, who is from Seguin, Texas. Well, that's not where you're from.
No.
But you're hailing from Seguin, Texas.
That's where I'm based right now.
Conveniently located about a mile from this airplane hangar / podcast studio.
Yeah.
So that's convenient. And he owns a company, which is an interesting name, says Till Death Digital Media.
Yep.
Why Till Death Digital Media?
Kind of play on words. So I started this business wanting to do strictly wedding photography, thinking I can price myself lower and bust into the wedding photography scene. Not the case. But till death do us part, right? And then also like taking pictures till I die, right? So I want to do this forever.
So you are fully committed.
I am.
But the play on words was till death do us part for the wedding.
Yeah.
And then on your business card, which I'm going to have fun today because I think we're going to play some pitch and catch on business.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, you're young. How long have you been doing this?
11 months.
You're almost on 1 year.
Almost on 1 year.
11 months.
Yep.
That's like a baby.
11 months. So ironically, my business was started the day my daughter was born.
Really?
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's easy to keep track of how old my business is.
My first bar was started like 2 days after my youngest son was born. So I guess we're going to run through a sequence of events because I really like asking people and talking to them and saying, like, how long were you thinking about opening and doing your own business before you actually did it? But before you even answer that, tell us your background because it's an interesting story. Your professional work career.
Yeah, so I got out of high school and didn't know what I wanted to do. And my dad was in the live music industry working security.
Holy shit.
In Austin, he was head of security at a bunch of different venues. So I grew up going to concerts all the time. And when I turned 18, I started working for him, just working front door security. And
that's all he knew.
Yeah. And then he would hire, depending on the concert and the capacity of the concert, he would hire law enforcement to come in. And one day, one of the captains for the local sheriff's office was there and was like, "What do you do besides this?" And I was like, "Work at Jimmy John's." And
freaky fast.
And he was like,
"I'll take the
better job than that."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you mean?"
I'll take the veto at Jimmy John's.
Yeah, I like the roast beef.
I haven't had that.
It's good.
So you were flinging freaky fast sandwiches and working security.
Yep.
At how old? 19?
18, 19.
Yeah.
And then,
which is pretty normal for what most people are doing at 18, 19.
Yeah, and then I applied for the sheriff's office and got a entry-level position as a control room operator in the local jail.
What do they do?
Keep track of where inmates are going, open doors, make sure officers can get to places that they need. Like every door in the jail building was automated, and so the control room was what controlled every door in the building.
So you're controlling every door in the building at 20 years old?
At 18 years old.
Holy shit. And we had a conversation at that point while you're controlling the doors. Are you having to deal with inmates?
Yeah, every now and then, like if a officer deactivated his panel to leave the panel and like do his rounds, then anytime an inmate would push the button in the cell to be able to talk to the officer, it would come into me, so I'd have to communicate with them.
But no, like touching, close to, moving.
No, at that point, it was strictly through intercom system. And then when I turned 21, I promoted up to a correctional officer. And
are you cracking jokes with these inmates through the intercom? Yeah. I mean, and they just know you're a kid?
I was 18, right? Like,
they know you're a kid just from hearing you, or can they see you?
They couldn't see me at all. No. And so, I mean, I probably sounded like a little kid, right? I mean, I was fresh out of high school.
Oh my Couldn't even God. I'd have been like, cellmate 26, pull your pants up and I'll open the door.
I used to play music for them.
They probably really appreciated that.
You know, and like, a lot, I mean, it was an interesting time. My mom was going through some stuff and was in and out of going to jails and prison. And
herself.
And so, watching my mom do all that when I was 18, it was, me and her talked about it. She was fucking up where I should have been.
Yeah.
And kind of, I wouldn't have been where I was if it wasn't for her in a weird way. Like, there was a lot of animosity there at the time. And, looking back on it, like, I'm definitely where she messed up. I went the opposite direction. I just full 180'd.
For raising your kids.
For raising myself. I mean, as a young adult, watching what could happen, I was like, I don't want to do that. And just literally 180 and opposite end of the spectrum. Okay, you're in jail. I'm working in a jail.
Yeah. Don't you think it's wild watching what your parents did and now what you do now?
Yeah.
What's one thing that your mom did or didn't do that you do 180 degrees now? Different.
As far as raising my kids,
it could be simple.
Not do drugs.
So I never really got hugs from my mom or dad ever.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, when you walked into her house, if you didn't give her a hug, you were in shit. And so my kids now, when they walk in, it's like, you better give me a hug, punk, period. Yeah. And so even simple things, but drugs is probably good to not do around the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
And my mom, she's clean and sober now. She works in
that's good.
She does rehabilitation. She's a counselor. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. One of her biggest complaints going through that whole process was, talking to counselors that are like, I know how you feel. But they've never done it.
Yeah.
And so whenever she got clean, she decided to go down that path of helping other addicts.
Life throws you crazy curveballs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just crazy. And so, but she's kicking ass now.
Oh, yeah, she's doing awesome.
That's awesome. Have you forgave her for everything?
I have.
Yeah, it's tough. Man, I have a shitty relationship with my mom, and I try to... She's like a stove that you touch, and every time you get burned, and I just try to fix it, and then I just keep hearing the same show. Like, all right, I gotta go. I'll see you later. Like, I just don't let it carry on so far anymore. But hopefully yours was better than mine.
It took time, It definitely took time, but after I turned 21, I promoted, and then I was working in the jail, and then 2 years after that, became a senior correctional officer. I went to the police academy. I got engaged while I was in the police academy, which, was smart, but wasn't, and ended up failing out of the police academy.
Oh, really?
I was focused on life instead of school.
You were focused on wife instead of school.
Yeah. And
at 20-something.
Yeah, and, looking back on it now, failing the police academy at the time was, like, devastating.
Oh, yeah.
I failed a test by 2 points.
Oh, shit.
And it was the last test I could fail. And it was that day, done. You're out.
Oh, man. And you hadn't put enough effort and you knew it.
Yeah.
So dumb choices.
But looking back on it, I'm so glad I failed.
So you're in the jail, working in the jail. Now you're moving. What do y'all call them? Inmates, prisoners?
Inmates.
Roommates?
Inmates.
I'd be like, I'm going to go see my shitty roommates today.
Yeah. That's how it felt sometimes. I was, when my wife and I were getting married, I was doing 20-hour plus a week of overtime. So I was doing 60-hour work weeks just to be able to pay for the wedding. And, at times it's like, the only difference between me and an inmate is I get to go home and sleep in my bed.
That is the difference. You're just sitting there.
Yeah, I'm doing time too.
And that's in, was that in Travis County?
Yeah.
So it was a county jail. They were sitting there getting ready to go to prison or serving time before they go to court?
All depends. So county jails are typically before trial and everything like that. But there's county jail charges too, so they can get sentenced up to a year in jail.
But they don't discriminate. They got everybody in there.
Everybody.
What happens to the guys that are running around with kids that go to jail? I see it on all the face things. What happens when they go to county jail? Do they get killed there usually right away?
No.
But when they leave, there's a good chance.
Maybe. I think the culture in jail has changed as far as how people are housed and protecting people, right? Because at the end of the day, that person did something bad, but they're there serving their time for that bad reason. And, there's a lot there, but it's
Jail is so crazy. I think that's why that podcaster, Ian Beck or whatever his name is so popular, because people on the outside here have no clue what goes on there. And it's just an unknown world.
And even as a correctional officer, like you only know so much, you know, it's a cat and mouse game constantly, right? Like just like whenever you're a kid, you're trying to get away with whatever you can get away with.
And they're
finding out
every day trying to get away with shit.
Every day. And your job is try to find it, right? And so I worked a lot of different units. I worked a general population. I worked a lockdown unit. I worked a psych unit. I worked a prerelease parole unit, which had people getting picked up by state parole and being brought to work.
Oh, really?
Worked at Popeyes and Wendy's and stuff like that. And then they get brought back every evening, and they didn't wear, your typical jail outfit. They got to have their own clothes. And
so they'd go out and work, and then they'd come back into jail?
Yeah, it was a state-ran halfway house in a sense. They were all convicted, went to prison, and then got granted parole, but because of their charges, couldn't get into certain halfway houses.
Do you feel like the justice system and jail is actually good at rehabilitating those people, or you think they're just doing their time and stuck there?
It depends. I watched my mom do it and get rehabilitated, right? So it really depends on the person. Does that person want to change? Right? Like that was one thing with my mom, telling her, when she was going through all her stuff, like, don't want to get clean because of me.
Yeah. Are you an only child?
No, I have two little brothers. But I think it's important that whenever somebody is in that position, they want to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
They want to get better for themselves. Right? Because if you're doing it for other people, it makes it a lot easier to fail.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's you've decided, I need to do this for me.
What a different planet.
There's more of a drive.
What else did being in that environment teach you? We had a conversation. My stepdad was a cop for 32 years. And one day out of my brain, I don't know where I came up with it, but I told you the other day, an officer's job every single day, all day long, they go to trouble all day. And so what was that like for you in jail, even though you weren't in jail?
So in a weird way, right? Like jails are made to, everything's a mute color.
Yeah.
Right? There's a certain smell to a jail that's like a chemically gross, stinky smell that's just there, right? And over years of working in the jail, in high school, I was in art, and I did art. I did sculpture. I did spray painting. I did all sorts of different mediums of art. And wrote poetry and wrote short stories, right, and stuff like that. And then over time of working in the jail, I just felt my creativity just dying,
turn into a yellow brown mush.
Yeah, and after years of that and dealing with just the absolute worst of society or every single day. Like, it was I became very jaded.
Just thinking everybody at HEB, everywhere, that everybody's just up to no good.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I always say your reality is not my reality.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing because my reality and like a mile in my shoes or a day in my shoes is so far from a day in your shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like that for everybody. And then you have people comparing themselves to this person and that. And like me and your day today is only like, I got up at like 6:30. But the amount of shit that we've done different just in those 3 hours is, again, your reality is not my reality. And you kind of grew numb to people and kindness and questioning everybody.
Yeah.
When that's probably not how it should be.
No.
Because there's a lot of good people out there. I would venture to say that, I always say that you're going to hate 1% of people no matter what. You walk in the room and you're like, that guy is there. And then they start talking and so you're like, yep, I'm not dealing with that dude. But I think that genuinely 90% plus of people mean well.
Oh, for sure.
They're not out to get you. They're not out to, and most folks are good people.
For sure. I mean, even working in the jail, there was people that I met where I was like, man, if I didn't meet you here, we could be friends.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I met you here.
Yeah.
And now it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? But, it definitely, it skewed me. It made me realize, every day I was literally dealing with just degenerates.
Yeah.
Right. And an older correctional officer told me, he was like, try not to be jaded. He a dude that had been doing it for 30 years. And he was like, there's, over 1 million people in Travis County.
Yeah.
There's 1,200 people that rotate in and out of here. Right. So it's not everybody.
They always want something, the degenerates. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it right now with one of the restaurants I bought, had a bunch of degenerates there. And when you stop letting them take advantage of things, when you cut off their money, when you cut off their free stuff, they start going away.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing to watch, what I've been doing for the past month in Port Aransas.
Yeah.
So your business thing, you did that you're at 11 months in the photography business. Is this the first thing you've done since?
No. I left the jail after 10 years. Mm-hmm. It took a year and a half of applying to different places because
you have zero experience in anything.
The skills that I have were tactical skills and
jailer.
Yeah, right. But those skills surprisingly translated really well into customer care. And I got into customer care department with a major home builder.
Oh, yeah.
And was doing that for a few years. And after a couple of years of that, I got promoted to an area manager and had a whole team below me that I was working with. And then the day my wife was induced, got laid off. And,
yeah, congratulations. Yeah. If having a baby is not difficult enough with a nice steady job, now you have no job.
Yeah. And so my wife and I, everything went well with, delivery. And then, we get home and it's like, okay, what am I doing? Am I going to just go?
That is a lot on your plate.
Go get another job, or I want to the job that I had with the home builder, it had a lot of flexibility, right? And so I went from my first child, watching her because I was working so much overtime, right? Her first couple of years that she was alive, I was working so much I was watching her grow up on my iPhone because I was FaceTiming my wife in the parking lot at the jail. Right. And so then I get to a point where I'm able to go to school things. I'm able to be going to everything that my kid's doing and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I got to start over. I got to find something that I can still do that though. How do I still 100% be here for my kids? Mm-hmm. Right. Cause that's what I want. Right. And then it was the only option is start my own business. Okay, what am I good at?
What were the early stages of that, and how did you decide? How long had you been thinking about starting your own business?
Forever.
You can't have your phone in the jail, could you?
No.
Holy crud.
No. And it was 30
You were basically in jail.
30-minute breaks, and it took 15 minutes to get out to your car.
Oh, my
And so I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and so literally it was go on break, go out to my car, smoke one cigarette, got to head back in.
Oh my gosh. Being a jailer is like being the top dog in jail.
Yeah, but you're not.
Dude, no thank you.
Yeah.
So if you have any words of wisdom for anybody thinking about being a jailer, what would you have to say?
Do it while you're young. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
For maybe a year.
For a few years. I wouldn't trade any of that time for anything.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of valuable life skills. I turned 34 this year, I think. Yeah, 34 this year.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot.
I tell people you don't get a brain till you're about 27 and you really get one at 35.
Hopefully.
Maybe you're getting close.
Hopefully.
I don't know when I'm going to get mine. I just tell people that.
But, while I was in the jail, my little brother and I, we started a pressure washing business
Yeah.
for a minute. And it got to, it was just impossible to run a business while working in the jail.
Yeah.
And
we can't even answer the phone.
No, my brother was having to do everything, and it was very one-sided, and we both just decided, hey, let's just not do this right now. And it didn't last very long. But I mean, we pressure washed a couple driveways, made some money. It was cool.
Well, at least you tried.
And like when I was younger, I remember, middle school, high school, my mom would take me to Sam's Club, and I'd buy a bunch of candy bars and sodas and load them up in my backpack and bring them to school and sell them. Like, I was always trying to hustle, always trying to make that extra money. And, I got sidetracked and had a career for a minute, and then switched careers to a different career and thought, I could do this for a while. And then the decision got made for me, and I got kicked off the cliff and said, sink or swim. And for 11 months, I've been taking pictures of people and cars and your plane now.
What was the first paid job? People are so scared to start their own business because everything is so unknown.
Oh, yeah.
And I do a thing in Lubbock usually once a year called Business and Beers with Bonner, where I meet two of my restaurants up there are all college kids. So I like to meet with these guys who have questions about how to start their own business, what to do, where do we even get business cards? What about T-shirts? Where do I get a bank account? What were a couple of the obstacles that you thought were really difficult to starting your own business that once you got in, you're like, oh, it's really not that difficult? What was on your mind?
So I had a huge benefit of my aunt. She lives with us, and she has started multiple businesses. And so whenever I told her, hey, this is what I want to do, can you help me? She was able to really guide me. And I mean, within a week of being home from the hospital, I had all my business paperwork done with the state.
Oh, good.
Had a bank account and had business cards on the way, right? And so like it was very fast moving. I was all in, like, let's get things going.
So you had that, but the most important thing in a business is a customer.
Right.
Where did the first customer come from?
A wedding planner that I was friends with, or I am friends with. It's one of my best friend's girlfriend. She gave me a call, and she was like, hey, I have a couple, their wedding is this weekend, and they last minute decided they wanted videographers. Is that something you could do? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And gave her a quote. She went back. They said yes, and then went out and filmed their wedding.
You have a artsy background, and so how were you prepping or preparing to do videography stuff?
I watched probably 7 hours of wedding videos on YouTube. Just searching YouTube, looking at different people's style. Okay, what are they focusing on? What's some stylistic stuff that they're doing that people are liking? And said, okay, let's try to copy that, and just kind of went for it, winged it. Before that, like I would just do silly little videos for myself, for my friends and stuff like that. But
how did the first one turn out?
Awesome.
Isn't that crazy how scary it is? And you're like I remember, I've done so many things with the landscaping crap, but I didn't know. A guy told me, hey, I need you to build me 10 picnic tables. I didn't know how to build picnic tables, but I'd worked with wood. I had done this, and there was no YouTube, so I had to look it up. And I had never fixed sprinkler systems, and I remember how daunting it was to even repair the first sprinkler head, and like how daunting it is for you to do your first video of a wedding. But there's only one way to do it.
Yeah.
Jump in.
That's all it was.
And so many people will sit there for years and years and years and jump in. And what would have happened if you'd have fucked up that wedding video? It wouldn't be the end of the world.
No.
What if your SIM card didn't record?
It would have been awful.
That would have been bad.
It would have been a bad start. It's one of those, everything went perfectly, right? I got the couple really enjoyed the video. The editing process for it was super smooth. It was a brand new program to me. I hadn't used before.
Yeah.
And so I was watching YouTube videos of what do I need to do this? I'm wanting to accomplish this. How do I accomplish this?
Yeah.
And learning how to, put it all together, and it worked out really, really well.
What do you think sets you apart from other photographers and videographer people?
What sets me apart?
Yeah.
I try to connect with every client that I have. That's my goal with every client that I have, because if you're wanting me to do pictures for your wedding, I want to know what exactly it is that you're wanting, right? My wife and I, we had a wedding photographer, and it was a friend of mine's wife that did our wedding photography, and she did a good job. We're happy with the pictures, but there's certain pictures that we wish we got that we didn't get. And having a professional photographer do your wedding and having them sit down and go over a shot list. What's the most important shots to you? What is it that you want? And every wedding client that I've had since, I think, okay, what is it that my wife misses that we don't have in our wedding photos? I'm going to make sure I get those. Right. And on top of whatever the client also says, we really want this shot. We want this shot, but making that connection with my clients, because my goal with every client is to have a repeating client.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm shooting your wedding, well, maybe I'll be doing a maternity shoot. Maybe I'll be doing your kids' graduation photos, or maybe I'll be doing your kid's wedding 20 years from now, 30 years from now, who knows? But having that reoccurring client, it's nice, developing those relationships with people is part of, I think, what sets me apart is I try to develop a relationship off the bat with all my clients.
Well, I think, I met Jacob at a deal in Seguin. What's that thing called? A think tank?
Entrepreneur think tank.
It's kind of a younger entrepreneurs think tank in Seguin, and I've been seeing it on Facebook, and I like all things about business, and that could be from Business and Beers with Bonner, when we tell people get business cards, all the way up to sitting at tables with guys that are literally worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I've been in a room with all of those people, and I enjoy all of it. So, that's how I met you. And I don't, you say that what sets you apart is the connectivity with the people, but I'm steering towards the fact that you have an artsy background and, have drawn stuff and done this. And then when I watched you said, I'll come shoot pictures of the plane. And I thought, well, whatever. I want pictures because I'm going to sell that plane. And a plane's kind of like your baby. But I think what sets you apart is not the connection, which you do connect well with people that I've seen, but it is your art background. Jacob's not just standing there like clicking the fucking camera let's get through this thing. He's running close shots. He's running far shots. He's making sure at this angle, that angle, the sun over here. So he's really putting in his artistic background into these pictures. And then what he produced, I had zero expectations, which I usually go into things with zero expectations. That way I'm not disappointed. But when Jacob sent the pictures back of the airplane, I was actually blown away, like completely blown away. And so you say your number one is connecting. I don't think that's your number one. I could be wrong. I've been wrong 1,000 times, but I think it's the artistic ability to portray the image in an artful form. Yeah. Like, dude, the shit that you sent was fucking unreal. So
there's sometimes, like, even with the photo shoot I did for your plane, like, I'm going through and editing photos because, like, that day I get home and I probably took 300 photos.
Yeah.
You got 35.
Yeah.
Right? So there's 300 photos that I went through and was like, okay, these 35 are the best. And then I edit them and I'm like, I took that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's crazy.
Nah, dude, they were really good. And that's why I asked if you wanted to come do the podcast because, if somebody's looking for a photographer, whether it be for their wedding or for portraits or real estate, pictures of cars, airplanes, or shit that is important to them. He's going on a dove hunting trip to video and take pictures. I've had some people do some pictures, but Jacob is the guy to go do it because it's just, there's an artistic background that you can't teach. So that's why I was asking you, how did you learn to do this? These pictures and these videos, and you said a YouTube video, but I don't think that's really where you learned it.
No,
I think it was on all the other stuff that you were doing in the drawing and your artistic ability. So my hat's off to you on that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
It was good. And then, he gave me his business card, and one of the funniest thing is, and he doesn't know it yet because I haven't said shit, but it's the FAA licensed drone pilot.
Yeah.
And so the reason it's the funniest thing to me is because all of the quote unquote real pilots make fun of the drone pilots.
I'm proud of that. It's one of those things, right? Like I've read horror stories of doing commercial drone work, and the FAA defines commercial drone work as anytime you're doing a drone as a service. Yeah. And so it could be a favor. You could say, hey, Jacob, you mind throwing your drone up for me? I need to look at the roof real quick. Yeah. Well, I'm not doing that for photos. I'm not doing that for personal. I'm doing that as a favor to you. The FAA, even if you're not paying me, they say that's commercial drone work.
Do they, are the words they use for compensation or hire? Is that what they use?
It says anything commercial.
Okay. Well, in a lot of the commercial flying stuff, if it's for compensation or hire, you got paid. Yeah. It's a commercial deal.
But I've heard horror stories of people getting fined, not having their Part 107.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the fines start pretty significantly high, like $10,000 starting.
What was the requirements to become a licensed drone pilot?
Take a test.
But how long did that take to study for?
I studied for about a month and a half.
Yeah. Fuck.
And, I paid for a course. There's no course that the FAA has. It's all these individual little private schools that have courses. And so I paid for a course and did a course that was go through these modules. And then there was a test at the end of every module just to help you prepare for it. And after a month and a half of doing that course, felt pretty confident. Went and paid the test fee and took my test at the pilot shop in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. Have you been using the drone for photography?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. For weddings and stuff like that, I'll pull it out. I want to do some car shots. I think it'd be cool.
What kind of drone do you have?
DJIs.
I was looking at one of those DJI Mavic 4. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the problem with DJI right now is it's a Chinese-owned company, and they got blacklisted just this past December.
They did.
And so all their new product is not able to be bought right now for us. So like I have a Mavic 2 Pro. I have a Mini 2, which, they're a couple of years older, but they still do really awesome video. But like the newer stuff, you could shoot in portrait with your drone, which is awesome, right? Because a lot of people you're making Instagram reels for. Oh, yeah. And so being able to shoot in portrait without having to lose quality is awesome. But yeah, they blacklisted, and there's no consumer grade drone manufacturer that's US made. Right.
That's
the cheapest US made drone I want to say is like $7,500.
That is wild. They did that with Cirrus Aircraft Company. They called them a Chinese military company.
Yep. Yeah, and like it was frustrating as a drone pilot and a drone consumer because DJI as a company opened its doors and was like, do your investigation. And the U.S. government just passed on to another department. The investigation never got done. And then the deadline hit. And then they never did the investigation. They never checked their records to see if they are a spy company, because that's what they're getting accused of. Yeah. Because they make aerial craft that have cameras.
What are a couple of the lessons that you've learned with the Part 107 drone stuff that you think are important? Because we don't want to run airplanes into drones. And people that haven't taken a class are just going and doing shit wherever. And planes do run into drones. So what are a couple of things that you've learned?
Drones don't have the right of way. Right?
No, they don't.
You need to make sure, as a drone pilot, you need to make sure that you're keeping your eyes on your drone at all times. And, not flying above 400 feet is important, right? You want to make sure you're below that line and being aware of what's going on around you, being fully aware, not allowing other people to distract you while you're flying. I've had people come up to me while I'm in the middle of a flight and they try to talk to me. I'm like, hey, just give me a second. Like, I'll land this and then we could talk, right? Like, I'm trying to take care of a job or I'm trying to get photos for myself, right? Like, give me a second. And once it's off the ground or once it's
on the ground, we'll chat.
We'll have a chat, right? But up until then, you need to let me take care of what I need to take care of.
What are some cool drone or types of drone work that you like to do that have turned out well for your clients?
Just adding simple B-roll, right? Like the first wedding video I did had a really awesome shot. It was a venue out in Dripping Springs area. And so really nice hill country. And there was a nice little valley that was like off the edge of the venue, and having a really awesome panning shot for their B-roll footage for their wedding video was, it just added a really nice aesthetic that it's impossible to get unless you're flying with a drone or you have a helicopter pilot that you're paying, pretty much just getting B-roll is what I use it for, though.
Have you been doing work for any real estate agents yet?
A couple. Real estate agents seem to have their guys.
Yeah.
Right. And so getting into with a real estate agent is just, it's difficult.
The real estate is slowed down a ton too.
Yeah.
If you were doing this during COVID, you would have been the real estate guru for a while.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster ride those guys had.
Yeah. COVID was weird for me. I was in the jail during COVID, so I didn't really get to experience lockdown. It was just,
you were already locked down.
Life was going on as normal. I went to work every day,
I stayed up in Lubbock, which they didn't know COVID was going on. And then I'd go down to Port Aransas and they didn't know COVID was going on.
Yeah.
They did, but they just didn't care, which is how I kind of felt about it.
Yeah.
To each his own. If you want to wear a mask, wear it. Yeah. If you don't. That's your problem.
Yeah.
But so Lubbock and Port Aransas were a great place to hang out because they really didn't care. And I guess we know what happened now, right?
Yep.
But anyway, is what it is. In the past 11 months that you've been working for yourself, you just started. What are 3 things that you've learned this year that you've just had no clue about with regards to business? Challenges. What is your biggest challenge right now?
Closing sales.
Closing sales is your biggest challenge?
Yeah. Yeah. So I went into it, thinking I'm just going to price myself below everybody and get more work for less money and be busy and be making more money because I have more work. And I put myself in a spot, I felt like after a while, where I was just getting a bunch of window shoppers, a bunch of people that weren't looking at photography or drone services or videography as a necessity. They were looking at it as something extra.
So you're having a problem right now converting leads to closing sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we could take
the fix that I've done recently is raise my prices. And it's bizarre that it worked, but raising my prices where I'm still not, I'm not crazy. I'm not charging a crazy amount. I realize I'm a relatively new business and new photographer with not the biggest portfolio, right? And so, but raising my prices to be more competitive with other people instead of trying to underdog everybody.
Yeah.
Just put me in a different bracket where now I feel like whenever I have somebody contact me, they're actually seriously looking for a photographer and considering me instead of just trying to get the best price.
And what are you doing to put yourself out there to pick up leads for
I do
clients?
Facebook ads, a lot of Facebook ads, Instagram ads. And then I do like craft shows. It's a weird little thing, but
Are you picking some up there?
oh yeah.
Where are these craft shows?
Schultz's Pit Room down the road.
Ah.
They have a craft show every other month, it feels like. And I go out there and set up a tent and put up a booth with some frames up and
Cool.
sit out there and talk to people as they walk by. And,
Oh, nice.
you know, just being out there.
Yeah.
There's no photographers sitting at craft shows,
No, there's not.
you know, and it's kind of a weird thing. It's a weird spot for a photographer to be, but I've found some pretty good luck doing it.
I like it.
Because instead of running a Facebook ad, it puts me in front of people.
Yeah.
Right. Because like that's part of, in a sense, as a photographer, I feel like part of what I'm selling is me. Right. Are you going to get along with me or am I going to get along with you?
Yeah.
Right. Because if you hire a photographer and the guy's an asshole or you guys just don't vibe, like it's not going to be a good time. You're not going to get the best photos because you're not going to be happy. Right. And I'm trying to catch you at your happiest moment. Right.
Yeah. They don't hire wedding or photographers for funerals.
No, I don't think so.
So I would call that, and this is from a coach that I learned, becoming a person of interest. So how do you become the biggest person of interest / photographer in this local area?
Take as many photos as I can.
Yeah, and then become the person that everybody wants to use.
Yep. Just constantly posting.
That's a lot of steps.
Recently, I actually just got some postcards into a little shop in Seguin, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's
You had pictures done.
yeah, I made postcards. So I have a nice photo printer at home and I got thicker stock photo paper and printed out my pictures on one side, printed a postcard on the other side and brought them over to the Guadalupe Trading Company and they bought them off of me and
That's
they want more.
sweet.
Yeah. And so, you know, a place like Guadalupe Trading Company, I don't know if you've been there or not, but they're a really, I would say, an anchor in Seguin as far as small business.
Where's that at?
It's over on 46 and Kingsbury.
I'm there a lot.
By the Pennzoil, right next door to the Pennzoil.
What do they have in there?
Lots of little craft stuff, local artisan stuff, you know, soaps and handmade goods and Wusa Trading Company or Wusa Branding Company. It's a local clothing company in Seguin. They have a whole wall of their merch in there. And
I need to take Lando there.
yeah, it's a cool little place. And having them shout me out a couple weeks ago of, hey, you know, Till Death Digital Media's postcards are in our store now. Like, that was a cool feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of adds a little credibility to me in the community, I felt like.
What?
Getting in that entrepreneur think tank just
Has that been good?
it's been great.
That place, will you run down what that place does real quick?
Yeah, we meet every other week now. And they bring in guest speakers typically or have somebody up speaking about a topic, whether it's, you know, online marketing or AI using AI in the small business world and how it can be beneficial to be using, you know, ChatGPT or the other AIs that are out there. Having a place just to go listen to other small business owners talk about what they know.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And then like a world that I'm trying to get into is working for small businesses.
Yeah.
Right. Doing product photography, doing shoots.
Small business is the backbone of America.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, there's so many people that work for themselves. I say that there's so many people, but then if I ask you to go find someone that works for themselves, you can usually only name like 3 people.
Yeah.
So, so the think tank's been good. What do they call themselves? The Seguin
Entrepreneur think tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been awesome. I've gotten a lot of good knowledge out of that and I've made good friends out of that. So
Good.
far. You know, I think it's important to be friends with other people that you want to be
like-minded individuals. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's why I went there. I just, you know, I'm downtown Seguin a lot. And here when I'm in town and I thought, man, I just want to go see what they're up to because I just like what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go dip in and see what was going on. And, you know, they say that you should be the dumbest guy in the room. And so I'm always open to hearing what everybody says. And so it was neat. And the lady that did the presentation did a great presentation when I was there on social media stuff. And, you know, she's just doing the best job she could off of what she learned. I don't think she's not like a high paid expert, but I've been to the high paid expert stuff. She's doing the same shit as them. So it was great. So if anybody owns a business, wants to go somewhere and brainstorm and go to a think tank, ask questions to a group, when do you get to do that?
Yeah.
The Seguin entrepreneur thing was really good. And they brought Shipley's Donuts, which I'm a donut fiend, but I stopped eating Shipley's Donuts. They got bought out by private equity, and the size of the donut has gone down.
Yeah.
And I always give places 3 times. Well, I gave Shipley's 4 times, and I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I love donuts. But the best donuts in Seguin are at the corner of Kingsbury and Austin Street. I think they're called Seguin Donuts.
That little red roof building?
Yeah.
That's where I go.
Man, they're good. And then that guy's there, he's too cheap. It's $9.99 for a dozen donuts.
Oh, I know. I go there, I get a dozen donuts. I get a cream filled donut, I get a jelly filled donut, and a dozen donut holes. I spend like $15.
Nah, I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to go around and buy a dozen donuts from everywhere in Seguin. And he's $2 cheaper.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's up to him. So, well, do you have anything else that you would like to add on this beautiful day? What do you got planned for today, 11 months into owning your own business?
Picking up my daughter from art camp.
Where is art camp?
There's an art shop downtown Seguin on the square.
You know, that's one of the things that's pretty badass about working for yourself.
It's awesome.
Is I've been extremely busy because I was dumb enough to get another restaurant down in Port Aransas. It's called the Port A Beach Lodge. It's a restaurant and hotel, and I haven't talked about it much on here. Eventually, I was going to have Landon on here, my son, so we could talk about what I've gone through the past month and what it takes to buy a business and fix it up.
Right.
And the party that is, a lot of those people were probably in your jail cells for years. But where was I going with this? Working for yourself. But so I've been really busy, but my son has stuff this week. And I was like, dude, I'm just not going to do shit today and tomorrow. And yesterday we were on the lake in the middle of the day on the boat, water skiing. And I'm working, but
no, I mean, the goal in life for me is to be able to be there for my kids as much as possible. Yeah. And to make my kids proud and to make my wife proud. Right. And I feel like it's definitely hard running your own business and running your own business and balancing everything. But
no doubt,
you know, because one thing they don't tell you about, you know, whenever you work for somebody, you work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Whenever you work for yourself, it's all day, every day.
Yeah.
Right. Or you're not going to succeed, you know, and
I don't think people believe that. And they don't have any clue of how much work it takes. And I've never met a person that worked for themselves that said, I don't do shit.
No.
I have met people that work for themselves for 30 and 40 years. And they say, I talk to 1 to 2 people a day that are in my business. And that's it.
Yeah.
But that's 30 or 40 years.
Right.
And the other thing about working for yourself is you really only have one person to blame because you could design this business to do whatever you want. Yeah. It's all up to you.
Right.
You wouldn't even, if you wanted a photography business where you never even went and took pictures, that's an option.
Right.
If I wanted a, restaurant, whatever I do, where I never showed up,
Right.
that's all up to me.
Oh, yeah.
So there's only one person to look at, and you can go look in the mirror for those problems.
Yeah.
But that's what I was asking you earlier, 3 things that you have learned. What are some of the difficult things that you've learned in a year?
Balancing everything is difficult, you know, making sure that I am holding myself accountable, you know, whenever I could just lay on the couch all day and not do anything. You know, that's super easy.
Yeah.
Right. Or I could work for a couple hours and get some ads running and call some businesses up and see if they're interested in having me come out or whatever it is, you know, approach you and say, hey, you want some free photos of your plane? Right. Like that it's all trying to make connections with people.
Yeah.
You know, and like I have goals. Eventually I would love to have a studio of my own to be able to have photography set up and have, you know, all the lights and everything to be able to have people come in and take photos indoors and not be, you know, subject to the weather, right? Because right now I meet people at parks, I meet people on their property, or I have access to property that we do photo shoots on and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But having a indoor studio would be awesome, you know, and having a place that I could open my doors to other photographers to rent the space from me to be able to, hey, I need an indoor studio space for an hour. Okay, cool. Come on in. You know, I have all the lights and backdrops that you can use. Like that's my goal. And I think it'd be cool to have something like that in Seguin because there isn't.
Yeah.
But with how fast Seguin's growing, something like that would be awesome.
Crazy. Seguin is crazy. It was the armpit of the east side of San Antonio years ago. And it is just completely changing. Well, let everybody know where they can find you at or how they can contact you. So run down those things real quick.
You can find me on Instagram or Facebook, Till Death Digital Media. On Instagram, it's at tilldeath.dm. All my contacts on the Instagram. And then I also have a website, tilldeathdigitalmedia.com, which has all my portfolio on there and little photo shoots that I've done, all itemized and everything like that. And then my pricing for weddings and stuff like that's on there as well.
So it's all cut and dry. You can see it right there. And that's nice. That'll be good. And then
I work anywhere. Like
you'll go anywhere.
I'll go anywhere.
Have Subaru WRX will travel.
Yep.
Right now you don't have a choice. You'll go anywhere.
Yeah. I did 6 months ago, I did a Quince up in Waco.
Oh, really?
You know, so
that's the way it goes, man.
I've had people ask, you know, what's your radius?
What radius?
What are you willing to pay for?
See, and I feel like because of my aviation background, we had that deal in North Carolina last week or 2 weeks ago. I saw an opportunity. I'm like, okay, I'll be there in 2 days. Like traveling is not that big of a deal to get in. You and I right now, if we decided that we wanted to be in New York today, we could be in New York.
Oh yeah.
Which is just insane.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's good that you'll go anywhere because then they can hire you here, know you here, and take you to wherever they want to go.
Yep.
So pay for the hotel, give me some food, and I'll take pictures anywhere you want.
Yep.
So, well, good, man. I'm glad I'm glad that we had you on today. I've enjoyed it. I've been enjoying watching your story, and I'm happy to use you for some other stuff. But again, we're here to promote some photography stuff, and his work isn't just photography; it's artwork by means of photography. So I think it's a little bit better than you are portraying on what you're doing, and I'm glad to share my stuff. I need to post a couple more pictures and see what we can get.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, it was fun. We're out of here.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching Business Under Fire. We'd love it if you would share, like, and subscribe. See you next time.